Hey guys, welcome back to another update on Tropical Storm Francine, which has formed. It formed yesterday. It was a potential tropical cyclone yesterday, but well, I couldn't do an update, which I was sorry about that. And we've got Invest only 2 hour, which is looking better than what it did last night. And then you got an area of interest behind it, which has a high percent chance of formation, which we have to watch out for. So basically, let's have a look at Francine first. Public Advisory 7. Tropical Storm Francine has winds of 60 miles an hour and a pressure of 990 millibars. 65 miles an hour, should I say. As of 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time, it's going to have peak winds of around 100 miles an hour. So basically, they want this thing to become a Category 2 hurricane. It was supposed to become a hurricane earlier on today, but obviously, this morning it was not looking that good earlier. In the early hours this morning, it was not looking that decent. So, could still have 100-mile-an-hour winds hitting you guys on the coast of Louisiana. So if you live on the coast of Louisiana, I advise you to prepare like this is going to be a Category 5 because just because this is going to be a Category 2 at landfall doesn't mean that it will be a Cat 2 at landfall. It could even be a Cat 1 at landfall, but you can see it's now projected just to carry on moving northwest, and the whole of Louisiana has now got tropical storm warnings and tropical and hurricane warnings. You've got hurricane warnings. Key messages. There is danger of life-threatening storm surge for portions of Upper Texas and Louisiana coastline where a storm surge warning is in effect. Residents in the warning area should follow advice, including evacuation orders given by the local authorities. Number 2. Damaging and life-threatening hurricane force winds are expected in portions of southern Louisiana Wednesday, where a hurricane warning is in effect. Preparedness to protect life and property should be completed by tonight, since tropical storm conditions are expected to begin in with this area early Wednesday. Francine is expected to bring heavy rainfall and the risk of considerable flash flooding for much of Louisiana and Mississippi through Thursday. Flash and urban flooding is potable across portions of the northeast Mexico and far southern Texas into early Wednesday and the mid-south Wednesday night into Friday morning. And they have the winds right now at 65 miles an hour. Looking for the warnings. They are there is a hurricane warning in for Lake Charles. A hurricane warning is now in effect for Louisiana coastline east of Morgan City to Grand Isle. A tropical storm warning is now in effect for Louisiana coastline east of the Grand Isle to the mouth of the Pearl River, including metropolitan New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain, and Lake Maupassant. Summary of watches and warnings in effect. A storm surge warning is in effect for highland Texas to the mouth of the Mississippi River, Louisiana, Valence Bay. A hurricane warning is in effect for the Louisiana coast from Sabine Pass east to Grand Isle. A storm surge watch is in effect for the mouth of the Mississippi River, Louisiana to the Mississippi-Alabama border, Lake Maupassant and Lake Pontchartrain. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Morgan City to Grand Isle, High Island to Sabine Pass, mouth of the Rio Grande River to the Port Mansfield El Plesca, Mexico, to the mouth of the Rio Grande, east of the Grand Isle, Louisiana, mouth of the Pearl River, including metropolitan New Orleans, Lake Bertrand, and Lake Perez. A tropical storm watch is in effect for Bando Toro to Las Palmas, Mexico, Port Mansfield to Highland Island in Texas. A storm surge warning is in a storm surge warning means that there is danger of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from coastland during the next 36 hours in the indicated locations of storm surge, which means that there is a possibility of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the coastal lines into the in the indicated locations during the next 48 hours. A hurricane warning means that there are hurricane conditions are expected somewhere in with the warning area. A warning is typically issued 36 hours before the anticipated first occurrence of the tropical storm force winds. Conditions that makes outside preparations difficult or dangerous. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion. So that's Francine's for you guys. Tornadoes, a few tornadoes are possible Wednesday morning through Wednesday night over near the coastal areas of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, and the Florida Panhandle. Surf swells generated by Francine are affecting portions of the coast of northeastern Mexico and southern Texas. Their swells are expected to spread across the northwestern and northeastern northern Gulf of Mexico coastline. During the next day or so, these swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip currents conditions. Please consult products from your local weather office. And the next advisory is at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So this is definitely, certainly getting good right now for sure. I'll show you some satellite imagery in a minute. Francine looked really good early on yesterday afternoon. It looked really good. It was blowing up some significant convection. The convection was blowing up in the minus 90-degree cloud tops. And it did wane last night a little bit, but now it's starting to rapidly organize, and it could start rapidly intensifying very, very soon. But we've got these two areas of interest right now. We've got this storm here, this area of interest, this high area of interest, which should be going that way. Most of the model ones want this to stay out towards the open ocean like that, which is good news. But some of the model ones are trending this storm a lot further westward, which is putting the Bahamas, the East Coast, and Florida in play. So we have to wait for it to form. We have to see what the National Hurricane Center is going to say about this area of interest here, whether they want it moving towards Bahamas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, or they either want it moving up towards Bermuda and go east of Bermuda like what El Nesto did, and still impact some, give you guys some impacts with swells. And then you got this area of interest here, which has been significantly downgraded because this was on a high percent chance yesterday. 40, they could still upgrade it now because it is looking better than what it was. But I think they're going to give this one the invest status. I think they're going to give this one invest 93L in the next update. We've also got Tropical Depression 14W out there, which is expected to become a major hurricane as it heads towards that general area where 94W is. Right now, it just looks like a complete mess right now. Um, but as soon as it moves into this general area, it's meant to get from a category 1 to a category 3 over here. So that's some explosive identification. If you don't believe me, I will show you um, on the graphic here. So 55 knots here, then it jumps from 55 knots to 65 knots. That's 70 miles an hour. That's 75 miles an hour. Then it jumps to 80 knots, which I believe is 90 miles an hour, and then jumps from 90 knots to 100 knots, which is 115 miles an hour. So China could be in for another brunt of a system again. They had Yagi down. They had Yagi over here a couple of days ago, and now they're gonna have this storm next week. This is by the 15th, so we're gonna keep a very close eye on this system for sure. This is into next week on the 15th, 6Z. Um, when this indicates if this is a category 3 by then, I will be live whenever it becomes a category 3 then. As long as it's not in overnight. If it's during the day, yes, I'll be live. But it could travel anywhere in that cone. So northern Taiwan all the way into Okinawa, Kadena, those Japanese islands could be in threat for the system. But Okinawa could make landfall on Okinawa as a high-end category 2 or low-end cat 3, depends how fast the storm intensifies, but most of the models want a high-end category 4 over here. If that does happen, that means then that'll be two. If that does happen, that means then it'll be two super typhoons making landfall on China, which I don't think has happened in recent years. But I'll show you the satellite imagery of Tropical Storm Francis right now. It is looking really good right now. Conditions are phenomenal for this system. By the way, I forgot to mention there is a trough coming down from off the coast of Texas, which will push the system towards the east, like that, towards Louisiana. That's why it's moving east, but you can see some really good convection around the center circulation, which indicates that there's nothing stopping the storm now. It's going through an eddy, which means that it's going through an area of an area of ocean heat content that is the deepest in the Atlantic. Basically, there's the deepest bit of water here where the system is right now. As soon as it's not finishes organizing, I think this system is balls to the um uh um um it has the floor there to rapidly intensify. Now it doesn't have long overwater. It's potentially going to be making a landfall. I believe Thursday. I think. No, about 1 p.m. Wednesday. So that is 2 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. It's 2 p.m. BST, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, and that is 12. That is 12 p.m. That is 12.
Yeah, it's 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So this system should be making landfall at 12 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, and which is my time is 2 a.m. BST or DST, Daylight Savings Time. But yeah, you got tropical storm warnings for pretty much for the coast of Mexico. Tropical storm watches are in effect from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, and you got hurricane warnings pretty much for the majority of Louisiana. I'll show you the model ones now. Most of the model ones do want an area of interest. Does want something to form in the relative vicinity of where Francine what should have formed in the MDR. Show the model ones for the Atlantic now. Keep an eye on this system. Oh, keep an eye on this system here. And keep an eye on that one because that one should fade away and go up here. But this one could move up towards the north like that, or could move out towards here and impact the Azores. We don't know, not sure yet, but so far the most important thing is Francine. They do have this as 993 millibars. The NHC has it as 990 millibars. So they are 3 millibars higher than the NHC, which doesn't really. In fact, it goes to 992, drops to 987, and 971 millibars. So that's a category 2. So they're still indicating that this could rapidly intensify. Maybe not down to a category 2, but probably high in Cat 1, low in Cat 2 at least out. But you do have that trough, which will push this system towards the east. If you come back over here, you got the trough, which should be digging down over here later today, which will move this further east. And then you've got wind shear, which is coming down from this trough, which should weaken the storm a little bit as it heads towards the vicinity of Louisiana. Now, whether it keeps its intensity or knocks it down a little bit, the GFS wants it knocking down a little bit. Gets from 971 to 977 millibars, weakens, and doesn't make landfall until 980 millibars. So that's what mid-range category 1. So it weakens from a high in Cat 1 or low in Cat 2 to a mid-range Cat 1. And then obviously it moves inland and just completely dies off. Now we go towards the other invests. They both emerge together, and then they form one system. And then you have multiple systems. You have a subtropical storm over here. I need to stop doing that. You have a subtropical storm over here. So you got multiple areas of interest. Yeah, over here you got multiple areas. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spins in the atmosphere, and you got the high pressure system over here, which is being so far pushed towards the north. So you got the high pressure virtually over like Norway, France, Spain, England, Scotland, Iceland, all those places, which is keeping us dry. But then you've also got an area of interest. We also do have on the 26th of March a low coming off the coast of Africa, near the Cabo Verde Islands. Now that's way too high. That means the intertropical convergence zone is still like this. So basically, the intertropical convergence zone, it has been like this, and the waves come off too high and they fizzle out over here because the wind shear, the dry air over here. It's more conducive down here, but because the intertropical convergence zone is further north, when the waves move off, they just completely dissipate. And then nothing really active after that for the Atlantic. But you do have an area of interest here, which does become a hurricane actually. If you keep watching this area here, it becomes a hurricane in this general area here. Just keep watching the general area, 995 millibars, 983 millibars. So it's basically a hurricane. So, and this is by September 6th. This is by September 26th, by the way. So that's like what? That's like 2-3 weeks away. That's right. That's like 16 days away. So do take this with a grain of salt. Don't look at the models past 7 days. I'll show you the Western Pacific. They do want a lot of areas of interest. Keep watching this storm here, because it's on the 12th, which is in 3 days. They do have, the GFS has this as a 994 millibar. By the 13th, which is Friday, 981 by Friday, and they have it as 977 by Friday evening. 0Z Saturday, they have this storm at 965 millibars Saturday morning on the 14th, 12Z. I will probably go live when this happens. 965 millibars. They want in this general area. Now it could make landfall Sunday. It depends how fast this moves. It could make landfall Sunday night into early Monday morning next week. But they do want this system to be a 957 millibar hurricane. Typhoon, should I say? They want this to be a super typhoon. 957 millibars. They do indicate it down to 951 millibars, which I believe is equivalent to a category 3 hurricane. So 951 millibars. That is category 3 status. Some of the models have been trending high end. Some models have been saying low end Cat 3, high end Cat 3, high end Cat 4, low end Cat 4. And they do want it making landfall on the 18Z model on September 15th. So, as a 957 millibar typhoon. At this point, it'll be moving into cooler waters, because at this point, you have cooler waters over here. The waters are cooler where the storm is. Where the storm will be traveling, you got like 30-degree waters all here. And then when it gets to here, where the storm is now, it's about 25-degree waters, which will weaken the storm a little bit. Don't get me wrong, some of the models have been showing that it will graze the coast of, when it comes from over here, it will graze the coast of China. Some of the models want it grazing the coast of China and then moving up towards South Korea and North Korea, which isn't going to happen because of the high pressure near Japan, which I'm on about is this area of high pressure over here in the Eastern Pacific, and this over here and that over here. Those two high pressures are pushing the system towards the west. Then obviously by Sunday, by Monday it's inland and weakening, and then you got another area of interest following behind that. You got basically three. This one does the Fujiwara effect with this one and this one. So there's basically three storms dancing around each other. And then that one then wins out, eventually moves into Taiwan, and then you got a bunch of other tropical systems in the Philippine Sea. So could be prime time this month for the Westpac. Indeed, the Eastern Pacific. There's no point in showing the Eastern Pacific because there is an area of interest, but the Eastpac has been one of the most quietest basins in the northern hemisphere this year. Apart from the Atlantic as well, because we should have had 3 major hurricanes by now, or at least 2. Basically, no, we should have had 3 major hurricanes by now. Climatology, we should have had 3 major hurricanes by now. Last year, we had 3 by now. 2021, we had 3 by now. 2020, we had 4. We had 4 by now. 2019, we had 2 by now. Dorian and Humberto, and then we eventually in late September, early October, we had Lorenzo, which became a Cat 5. 2018, Florence, Cat 1, no, category 4. And then I think this season will be like, I honestly do think that this season will be like 2018 with only 2 major hurricanes, because I mean the intertropical convergence zone should have been further south, and if it was further south, we could have had another bell. But thank God we didn't have another bell this year. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up the video here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry, it's a very long video today. But I'm just putting out there for warnings that this is the new code, by the way. Tropical storm warnings are in place for pretty much Mississippi and the whole of Louisiana and some parts of the Texas border. And you've got tropical storm watches for Texas, and tropical storm warning for Mexico, and a tropical storm watch for Mexico as well. So this is expected to be a hurricane by tonight or later on today, which I certainly do believe so. Given on that this system is rapidly organizing. So anyway, stay safe from Francine, and don't forget to prepare, and I shall see you all in the next video, probably tomorrow, when this storm is heading closer towards landfall in Louisiana, and it pretty much where Laura may landfall in 2020. So yeah. Anyway, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, comment down below, and target goal is 100 subscribers. So let's try and get 100 subscribers. Then we'll have a documentary out of Hurricane Ida, and we'll have a big animation coming out. So stay tuned for that, and peace.